All right, so today we are going to be cooking eggs. We are going to be cooking eggs, poaching them. We're going to be flipping them. I'm going to show you how to fry some eggs, and I'll show you how to scramble some eggs. So each person will get 3 eggs to work on today. Just so you're aware, next week your lab will require you to poach an egg. So I would suggest practicing poaching an egg today. And then your final practicum will require you to flip an egg. So just an FYI, these are the only times in class that we'll practice them. Otherwise you'll have to practice it in my home. But I want you to kind of utilize your class period today. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is everyone will get one of your lab notes, so take that. So you'll need something to write on and write with. I'm going to tell you what your equipment that you're going to need. Now for the poached egg, you are going to need a pot. You will need to fill that pot about 1/3 of the way with water. So about here. We don't need it to be completely full for 2 reasons. One, if you have it so full, you're going to end up having water splash out. And 2, the higher you have it or the more full you have it, the longer it will take for the water to heat up. So you only need it about 1/3 of the way, just so that when you drop your egg in it, it is fully submerged. You will need a whisk, because this is going to help us get that nice tornado action. You will need 2 teaspoons of vinegar. Now this is going to help your egg white kind of solidify or coagulate around your yolk. So that helps a little bit. You don't taste it. It just helps the look of your egg. You will also need a slotted spoon, which one of my students last hour borrowed and didn't bring it back, so I gotta go find one. And that's going to help you take the egg out and put it on your plate. Speaking of plate, you will need a plate and a paper towel, because you want to drain your excess water from your poached egg. So that's your equipment that you'll need for your poached egg. You'll also need a little ramekin to crack your egg into, but you're going to need that for all of them. So you can just use the same one. So for your flipping of your fried egg, you'll need a small sauce or saute pan, the non-stick one. You'll need a rubber spatula. You're gonna need an egg too. And an egg, yes. Yeah. And then for your scrambled eggs, you're gonna need another saute pan, small one. And then a wooden dowel. I learned this technique in culinary school. It's like an old French technique. They actually have a tool that's, I don't know if it's wooden, I think it's metal, so I don't know how it works on my non-stick. But same concept, you scramble your egg with a little tool like this, and it makes your curds really nice and fluffy and not so dense. So that is your equipment. I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, and for your scrambled eggs, you'll need some kind of bowl to scramble your eggs in. So I am going to first start off by getting my water hot. Now, for my poached egg, I don't want it to be a rolling boil. I just want it to be a simmer. But it does take a little bit of time to get there. So I'm going to get that started while I work on my other eggs. So the first one I'm going to do while that is simmering is flipping my eggs. This is the fun part. Now, as you can see on the floor, there are some tarps and there are some casualties of war. Please don't step on them because you don't want to attract egg everywhere. But that is where you're going to flip your eggs. So that way they don't, if they fall on tarp that we just pick up and throw away, and not on the floor because they become a big mess. So please flip only on the tarp. Now, to practice our flipping, we're going to use a cracker. You're going to put the cracker in your saute pan, and you can do this part at home or at your station. You don't have to stand over the tarp to flip this because it's not messy. But if it falls on the floor, please pick up the pieces and throw it away. So, to flip, the motion is all in the wrist. It is a quick, like this. You're not doing this. It's a quick flick of the wrist. So you take your food product, this is my cracker, you're going to tilt the pan till the food or your egg goes to the edge, then you're going to pull it back. So just a quick boop like that. If your egg or your cracker goes too high, you will break your yolk or you'll break your cracker. And that's no bueno. So practice using the cracker first so that you get that nice, delicate flip. Like that. Any questions so far? This is where I enjoy watching everyone flip. Like last hour, I had this cutest little girl. She was trying, she was scared. She flipped the first one, and that's her egg that's on the floor. She went back, she was gonna try again, and she went, and she flipped it perfect. So for first you don't succeed, try again. The only two that you really need to master right now is the poached and the flipped. Scrambled egg is just for fun, so I would focus on those two, because if you mess up your flipped egg, you have an extra egg to practice with. So, okay, so I've gotten the technique down. Now I can start the actual flipping of my egg. Now, I have clarified some butter, which is basically I melted butter down really slowly, and the butter fat and the solids separate. So if you look inside this pan, there's a little bit of clarified butter on the top, but that white cloud of stuff at the bottom, that is the solids. It's the things that burn when you use butter in a pan. If you've ever put butter in a pan, left it for a little bit and it started to turn brown, has that nutty butterscotch flavor, that's the solids burning. By removing the solids, you end up with just pure fat and deliciousness. And so clarified butter and eggs are just perfect for each other. So I like to use it for this lab. Normally my culinary makes the clarified, but I don't have culinary this semester, so I made it. So it's not a lot, so hopefully there's enough for tomorrow or Monday. All right, I've got a little bit of bubbles going, but they're not there to simmer yet. They're kind of hovering at the bottom. So, flipping my eggs. Well, before I get that started, I'm gonna get my egg in a, can you get me 3 eggs? Yeah, watch out for stepping on the egg. It's gonna be in Jeff Fridge's in that white box. I completely forgot my eggs.
Don't drop the eggs.
Here, give them, take it, put them in that.
Juggle.
Thank you. Yeah. So, first egg. Always want to crack an egg on the flat of your countertop, not on the edge of a bowl, because you're going to shoot shards of egg up in there. Ooh, I got to simmer. I'll turn it down. Thumb goes in the middle, separate the shell, out comes the goodness. Now you're going to look, make sure there's no shell in there, looks beautiful. Trash over here. Now I'm going to get my egg or my pan warm. Now we just want to kiss the bottom of the pan. You don't want flames shooting around the side. Now the small pan are going to be kind of vicarious. They're going to fall over a little bit on these, so just be very careful. Don't leave and let your pan get too hot. Oh, I'm at a boil now, so I'm going to turn that down. Alright, so this is where you decide what you want to season. So before you get your egg in there, if you want, I have some, typical seasonings there. I'm a purist. I do salt and pepper, but you could definitely add a little bit of spice. There's some oregano over there. There's some jalapeno garlic back there, which we used last hour, and it was surprisingly really good in the scrambled eggs. But whatever you want is your egg. If you don't want to eat it, you don't have to eat it. But I do have toast, so if you want toast with your eggs, you can make toast. All right, so into my pan goes my egg. So I'm going to season with a little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt. I'm going to let this cook. Now, cooking a fried egg, if I'm going to do over easy, over medium, over hard, sunny side up, all starts the same way. Starts like this. If I wanted a sunny side up, basically you cook the egg just like that, turn your heat down, put a lid on it. That becomes like a little oven, keeps the heat in there, and it'll cook the top of your whites. But I want an egg over easy, so I'm going to flip it and it's going to cook the top of my whites. So the rubber spatula is only going to be used for one thing, and that is to make sure it's not sticking. So you just run it around to make sure nothing is sticking. Looking good. Okay, so I like to swirl my egg around just gently, make sure nothing sticks. Take the egg to the end of the rim, flip it back on itself. Cook it for 10 seconds. You have an egg over easy. The white is almost set. You get a little snottiness still. 20 seconds, you have an over medium where your white is set, but your yolk is still runny. And then if you go about a minute, you're gonna have over hard, and you have like a hard-boiled egg inside of there. So I want an over medium, so I'm gonna pull it now. What I want when I crack that egg open is it to have a liquid gold center, but no snottiness. All of my yolk is set. So come the end of the semester, when you do your practical, that's what I'm looking for. So you might have to practice it so you can get the timing correct and the flipping and all that good stuff. So that was a flipped egg. That was an over medium egg. The whites are set, but the yolk is still running. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you how to scramble an egg. So we're going to start off, I'm going to use the same pan because it's actually pretty clean. My pan is still pretty warm. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Turn my heat off. We're going to scramble our egg. So inside your bowl that you have, scramble your egg. Now, a lot of people like to add milk or liquid or water or whatever to make their eggs fluffier. What it does is actually separates your proteins during the coagulation process, so don't. It makes them seep and weak. And then your eggs will be kind of rubbery but liquidy at the same time. It's very weird. In order for us to get nice fluffy eggs, the longer you beat them, the more air you're incorporating in them. So just keep beating them. A nice large bowl will allow you to have that motion where the fork is in a circle. If you're doing like this, you're just stirring eggs. You want to whisk those whites and those yolks together so you don't see any of that sliminess of the yolk or the white. That looks pretty good. So to my pan, I'm going to add my eggs, and I wait till I'm almost done before I season them. If you season them while they're in there, they're just going to sink to the bottom, and you're not going to get nice season. So at the end, I usually season the eggs. So you're going to take your wooden dowel, and you're going to go in a figure 8. What this is going to do is going to break up that the curds of your eggs, so that you get nice fluffy eggs. The key to egg cookery is to pull your eggs before they are completely set, because they will continue to cook as they set on your plate. So they're a little shiny right now. I actually like them shiny because I like mine over soft. But they will continue to cook as they sit on the plate from carryover cooking. So if you wait till they're completely matte in terms of the sheen, if they're matte finished, your eggs are going to be overcooked when you eat them. So shiny, pull them, they'll be nice. They're cooked, they're good to eat. Now we are going to do the piece de resistance, the hard one, the poached egg. So I'm going to bring my pot back up to a simmer, and I want everyone to come over here when it gets to a simmer, because I want you to see what a simmer looks like so that you know what it is when you're ready for it. So to get ready for my simmer, I'm going to crack my egg into my ramekin, because you want to have something to dip into this water. You just crack it into it, you're going to end up with egg drop soup, because it's just going to plop down, hit the bottom, and kind of break. So you want to get a little ramekin. You can even use, like at home, a little coffee cups with a little handle. So I'm going to bring my water back up to a simmer. I want little bubbles breaking the surface around the edge, and I want you guys to come see it when we get there, so you can kind of have an idea. All right, so come over here and kind of look. This is what you want your water to look like. It's not a rolling boil. You have those little bubbles at the bottom. You can see them breaking around around the edges. That's what you want. Anything harder than that, it's going to cause your egg to kind of explode and just disintegrate. Get over here. Pop your head in there. See the bubbles? That's what you want. So don't call me over there to look at your water. I am not going to judge your water. You should know what it looks like. So we're going to get ourselves a nice tornado. This is key. When we drop our eggs, we want to go right into the center of that vortex. If you hit the sides, what's going to happen is that water is going to whip your egg around the side, and you are going to end up with egg drop soup. So you want to get it in the center of that vortex, so it's in that little kind of whirlpool, and it will cause that white to kind of roll on itself. So get a nice vortex. Wait about a second till it simmers down. Drop it right in there. See how it kind of enveloped itself? So it's going to continue to cook. Kind of went too far off. My whites just whoop. But it's starting to roll back onto itself right there. I'm going to go get myself a slotted spoon so I can pull that out.
Wow.
So we got a nice little pocket inside of it. Get over here. Walk over here so you can see. Don't be shy. You want that white to envelop, that white to get hard, firm around the white or the yolk, but you want that yolk to still stay liquefied. That is a poached egg. And normally you'd find this on, say, an Eggs Benedict. Put it on the Eggs Benedict, crack it open. That white yolk just drizzles down on your hollandaise sauce, and together those two flavors are just magical. And they are very expensive if you go to a restaurant to order Eggs Benedict. It's like $14. It's not very hard once you master it. So I'm going to take it out really quickly just so you can kind of see what it looks like when it's not set, because it still needs a little bit more time. But if you lift up your yolks and your whites, actually it's pretty there, and it's pretty there. It's kind of wobbly. I can let this go a little bit longer. So you want that to be a little bit firmer. So I have my plate that I'm going to take it out on. And the key is when you lay it on here, lay it on the side so that you can roll it off to the pretty side facing up. So I'm going to pull my egg now. Drain your excess onto your plate with a paper towel. Alright, and then if I was at a restaurant, I was giving this to a customer, I would take off that, because we eat with our eyes, as we learned with our sensory evaluation. So now it's a nice little beautiful pocket. What I want to see when I crack this open is my whites are set and my yolk is still runny. Beautiful. That is a beautifully poached egg. That is what you're working on today. You're going to fry an egg, flip an egg, poach an egg, scramble an egg. But I want you to focus, because next week for our lab, you guys need to poach an egg. So get that practice in today. For your final practicum, you will need to flip an egg. So you might want to practice that today. And you have 3 eggs, so if you have a leftover, you can scramble an egg today. Questions?
No.
Oh.
Wait, so our partners, we each have 3 different eggs?
Yep, each of you will have 3 different eggs. So you may be sitting beside each other in the lab. You're doing your own individual lab today. All right, you guys may go. Don't forget to practice the flipping with the cracker before you actually do it, so you get that practice.
Do we both need